a bid to control the spread of coronavirus, the European Union has decided to seal the borders of its member states for 30 days by banning travelers from outside the bloc. The ban is expected to be imposed on 26 EU nations as deaths due to the virus have continued to soar in Italy and Spain. Good morning, I'm Sarah Sapsanama and these are the top stories of the hour. Province 2 Assembly fails to finalize a name of the province. All 4 proposals fail to gain 2/3 majority needed for endorsement. Government offices lack in taking necessary measures to contain the outbreak of coronavirus. Service seekers entering office premises without any testing or monitoring. The European Union decides to ban travelers from outside the bloc for 30 days in an unprecedented move to seal its borders amid the coronavirus crisis. And UEFA postpones the Euro Cup by a year amid growing worldwide fear of the coronavirus outbreak. Euro Cup now rescheduled to kick off on 11th of June 2021. Province 2 has failed to finalize its name as the proposals put forth failed to gain 2/3 majority in yesterday's voting, which is needed for endorsement. The Madhya Pradesh proposal registered by the ruling Rastra Janata Party and Samajwadi Party merely received 60 votes. The ruling Rashtra Janata Party RJP and Samajwadi Party cast 55 votes in favour of Madhya Pradesh as the province capital's name, while 1 vote was cast by Nepal Samajwadi Party and 4 votes in total by Nepali Congress and Nepal Communist Party. 46 votes went against the name Madhya Pradesh. 1 vote was considered invalid. The Provincial Assembly has also rejected the proposal of Janaki, Mithila Bhojpura and Madhya Pradesh. The proposal for Janaki could garner only 37 votes, whereas only 28 votes were cast in favour of Mithila Bhojpura. Likewise, the Provincial Assembly rejected the proposal of Madhya Pradesh, which secured 42 votes. As all the proposals have been rejected, a new process should move ahead for the naming of the province. The main opposition of Province 2, Nepal Communist Party and Nepali Congress issued a whip following cross-voting. However, 4 votes from the main opposition were cast in favour of the proposal presented by the ruling parties Rashtra Janata Party and Samajwadi Party despite issuing a whip. And moving on, the government is taking new decisions every day to contain the possible spread of coronavirus in the country. However, enough precautionary measures have not been taken in the government offices where there are crowds of service seekers on a regular basis. We have a report.
Government offices, including the Office of the Chief District Officer of Kathmandu, have been lacking necessary precautionary measures to contain coronavirus. Service seekers are being allowed to enter the office premises without any testing or monitoring. The offices are overlooking mandatory measures including measuring temperatures and applying hand sanitizers. Interestingly, the Office of the Chief District Officer in the capital itself issued an advisory on 5th of March urging the public to avoid mass gatherings. At a time when the high-level committee led by Deputy Prime Minister and Defence Minister Ishwar Pokhrel is taking new decisions every day to contain the spread of coronavirus, most of the government officers are overlooking the precautionary measures to control the virus outbreak. Meanwhile, the Supreme Court has started taking some precautionary measures for its officials, lawyers and service seekers by measuring the body temperature of everyone entering its premises. The Apex Court has also established a health desk with 2 medical personnel. Likewise, the distance between the justices, lawyers and service seekers has been maintained. Banks, schools and private offices have beefed up precautionary measures amid the fear of coronavirus outbreak.
Meanwhile, the National Public Health Laboratory received 25 new samples from several hospitals of the country yesterday for the test of coronavirus. The laboratory received 5 samples from Shukraraj Tropical Hospital in Teku. Likewise, hospitals including Patan, KMC, Norvik, HAMS and CIWEC have also sent samples for the test. 7 samples have also been sent from hospitals in Dharan, Bharatpur and Pokhara. Meanwhile, all the 496 samples tested on Monday at the laboratory were reported negative. According to the National Public Health Laboratory, the results of the samples received yesterday is expected to be out today. And with that, we'll take a short break here. We have more news coming up. Welcome back. The Nepal Rastra Bank is devoid of a leadership as Governor Chiranjeevi Nepal retired from the post yesterday after completing his 5-year tenure. However, the government that was supposed to form a committee to recommend names of possible candidates for the post a month prior to Nepal's retirement has remained indecisive. Nepal Rastra Bank is the governing body responsible of stabilizing the economic situation of the country and plays a key role in achieving economic growth set by the government. The central bank is the regulatory body of all banks and financial institutions. However, in the current scenario of decreasing economic activities due to coronavirus pandemic, the central bank is devoid of leadership. The government has overlooked legal provisions to form a committee a month prior to the retirement of Governor Nepal and to recommend names of possible candidates for the post. The cabinet meeting has not been held since 3 weeks and the next dates are unknown as Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli is still recovering from kidney transplantation. The deputy governor will assume the leadership of central bank until a governor is appointed. The scenario has raised questions on the government's performance and ability to make decisions. All the officials, including vice chancellors of universities and medical colleges, have been barred from investing and working as faculty in private educational institutions. The government has drafted new medical education rules that will restrict officials from doing so while receiving salary from the government. Officials have been simultaneously working as well as investing in private sectors in recent days. There are altogether 11 universities and 7 medical colleges currently running in the country. The government is bearing the salary of the officials and faculties who are working in these educational institutions. However, most of the officials are working in private organizations and some of them are even owners of private educational institutions, hospitals and clinics. As focus has been diverted to private organizations, the standard of the government institutions has declined. Realizing the fact, the government has decided to restrict government officials and department heads of government institutions to work and invest in private sectors. The existing act has restricted government officials and faculties from working in other sectors without prior permission. However, most of the university faculties and doctors are providing service in the private sector while receiving salary from the government. The government has also failed to take any action against them. The faculties and officials should be made responsible to raise the quality of education and service at universities and institutions. However, if they are not restricted to work and invest in private sectors, it will raise questions on the implementation of the new drafted rules. And with that, time now for the international update. The European Union will be banning travelers from outside the bloc for 30 days in an unprecedented move to seal its borders amid the coronavirus crisis. The measure is expected to apply to 26 EU states as well as Iceland, Liechtenstein, Norway and Switzerland. UK citizens will be unaffected. The ban came as deaths continued to soar in Italy and Spain, and France began a strict lockdown. The travel ban will affect all non-EU nationals from visiting the bloc, except long-term residents, family members of EU nationals, and diplomats, cross-border and healthcare workers, and people transporting goods. The UK and the Republic of Ireland, which is part of the EU but not Schengen, will be invited to join the measure. Europe has been badly hit by the virus, which has killed 7,500 people globally. According to the World Health Organization, the virus has infected more than 185,000 people worldwide. Iran remains the world's third worst affected nation after China and Italy. More than 16,000 people are confirmed as infected and 988 have died, although some analysts believe the figures are far higher than officially reported. In the US, the White House is working on an economic stimulus package reported to be worth some $850 billion. The US Centers for Disease Control and Prevention said the total number of cases has risen to above 4,200 with at least 87 deaths. The pandemic has disrupted the democratic primary election season. In other developments, China reported just 1 new domestic infection yesterday, but 20 more people are arriving from abroad. Malaysia is barring people from crossing the border with Singapore from today. India's iconic Taj Mahal monument has also been shut down. Meanwhile, scientists in Australia say they have identified how the body's immune system fights the COVID-19 virus. With that, we have more news coming up, but right now it's time for yet another short break. In our Public Voice segment, we had asked the locals of Sindhupalchok district why has not development works been able to gain momentum despite having 3 tiers of government. Let's take a look at what they had to say.
Public Voice.
राजनीतिक तरिकाले भन्दा पनि आफू खुसी आफ्नो स्वार्थको निम्ति अघि बढ्नाले गर्दाखेरि नै त्यो सम्भव भइराखेको छैन।
शिक्षा स्वास्थ्य जस्ता समस्याहरू धेरै देखेको पाइन्छ।
आफूले भनेको मान्छेहरूले जे चाहिँ अलिकति मान्छन् उनीहरूलाई नै दिने र त्यो सरकारले जति बजेट छुटाएको हुन्छ कामको लागि त्यो चाहिँ काम चाहिँ थोरै मात्रामा हुने तर त्यो बजेट चाहिँ सिधाउने प्रक्रियाले गरेका।
टोयलेटको व्यवस्था छैन, पानीको व्यवस्था छैन, बाटोको व्यवस्था छैन। जिल्ला नजिकैको मन्दिरको यस्तो बिहालत भएर बसेको छ। न जिल्ला सरकारले हेर्दिने न प्रदेश सरकारले हेर्दिने।
Time now for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse.
And the question is, what is the reason behind the delay in the governor's appointment? Your options are A, not in government's priority, B, interest of vested group, and C, lack of decision-making ability. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B or C and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. Time now for the sports news.
Sports News.
The European football governing body UEFA has postponed the Euro Cup by a year, which was scheduled to kick off in 3 months. The Euro Cup has been moved back amid growing worldwide fear of the coronavirus outbreak. UEFA held a video conference with all the European football associations yesterday and took their advice before coming up with the decision to postpone the Euro Cup by a year. Euro 2020 matches were earlier scheduled to take place between 12th of June to 12th of July in 12 different European nations. However, after the decision to postpone the tournament, Euro Cup has now been rescheduled to start from 11th of June 2021 and end on 11th of July. Due to the growing fear of COVID-19, the preliminary matches of the Euro Cup have been affected. As the threat of the coronavirus outbreak has been growing, Champions League, Europa League, CDR, English Premier League, La Liga and other league tournaments have been postponed. The South American Football Association has also postponed the date of Copa America, which was scheduled to be held from 12th of June to 12th of July. The association moved the Copa America to 2021 as coronavirus has also started to spread in South American nations. And moving on, the French Open has been moved to September and October as a result of the coronavirus pandemic. The event at Stade Roland Garros in Paris was scheduled to be played from 24th of May to 7th of June. As per the new schedule, the French Open will take place between 20th of September and 4th of October. The event will begin 1 week after the completion of the US Open in Flushing Meadows, New York. All professional tennis across the world is currently suspended until at least 20th of April. The French Open is usually the second Grand Slam tournament of the year after the Australian Open. And with that, we move on to our special segment, Laugh Out Loud.
Rashtriya Prajatantra Party and Rashtriya Prajatantra Party United officially merged this Tuesday. The top-notch RPP leaders have said that the unification of the two royalist parties is the need of the hour, as the general public has been looking for strong democratic forces. Our intention here is not to mock at the noble process of party unification, but interestingly, these two parties have joined hands and split a number of times since the restoration of democracy in 1990. In fact, people seem to have now lost counts on the number of times these parties came together and split again. The new agreement signed by the party leaders has a provision of 3 chairmen, while it may be recalled that the party had split a number of times in the past on the issue of who should lead the organization. Interestingly, during the unification ceremony, when the cadres raised the issue whether the party would split again on the same agenda, the leaders met places holding on to the Hindu religious epic Gita, promising not to break the unified party again. However, even as media covered the news of the unification, social media and tea stalls were abuzz with concerns that since the election symbol has not been finalized, it could be another issue to create a rift and finally a split within the party again. This is Amar Singh Pradhan for Laugh Out Loud and Kantipur News Desk.
Before wrapping up, here's a look at the top stories once again. Province 2 Assembly fails to finalize the name of the province and all 4 proposals fail to gain 2/3 majority needed for endorsement. Government offices lack in taking necessary measures to contain the outbreak of coronavirus. Service seekers entering office premises without any testing or monitoring. The European Union decides to ban travellers from outside the bloc for 30 days in an unprecedented move to seal its borders amid the coronavirus crisis. And UEFA postpones the Euro Cup by a year amid growing worldwide fear of the coronavirus outbreak. Euro Cup now rescheduled to kick off on 11th of June 2021. And that's all for the moment. Keep watching Kantipur Television HD for more news and entertainment. Have a great day ahead.